Hello, I'm Julia Sanchez, translator of Munir Hachemi's Living Things, published by Coach House Books in North America and Fitzcarraldo in the United Kingdom. And I'll be reading a short excerpt from the middle-ish of the book. Monday, 29 July. I've made some money and gone vegan. We've been here for 3 weeks, yet the implications of this job only sank in this morning. In the postmodern age, horror is not a holocaust, but something far more intimate and painstaking. I've reread some of my journal entries and get the sense horror may actually be a metaphor for something else. They picked me because I've had a driving license longer than the others. I was about to turn down the gig and set it all to hell when Elodie told me drivers actually get paid for their time on the road. So I said yes, even though it was a day job, i.e. 10 euros an hour instead of 13 euros. We clocked in at 6 in the morning, just when the hourly rate was marked down, and clocked out at 1 in the afternoon. The category was les poulets, and the subcategory, new to me, la vaccination. In the car, I figured out why everyone drives so fast. There were 5 of us, 4 strangers and me. None of the guys could come. La vaccination is considered a privilege. It's several hours of work in a row, and I was just lucky they'd been short a driver. We were following 2 other cars. I lost sight of them pretty fast, but Elodie had the sense to stick a man called Michel in my car, and he knew the way. Michel is blonde, though his complexion is dark from working in the sun. He has a sort of craggy skin where every wrinkle is visible, which makes him all the more beautiful. He is extremely tall and very strong and broad shoulders. His head is small, and he has blue eyes. And about 5 minutes in, I understood something fairly obvious. Transportation isn't paid by the hour, but by the kilometer. So it doesn't make sense to drive at the speed limit, at least not financially. I stepped on the accelerator. Ernesto's mom's car, one of Ernesto's mom's car, is a Suzuki Swift, which is light and skids if you speed on the curves. The faster I drove that morning, the better I understood Fabrice and the other guys. The life of an AST worker. I wonder how many ASTs there are in France and the rest of the world. Consists of 2 things: sleeping badly and rounding up frightened animals. All other activities, sex, food, driving, whatever, are secondary. This means that everything needs to last as little as possible, minus work, which will last however long it has to for maximal profit, and sleep, which never lasts long enough. Still, I may as well say it, I wouldn't have minded dying that morning. It wasn't long before we caught up with the others and overtook them, but then we had to wait a quarter of an hour for them to reach our destination. Today, work has shown me the true nature of animal exploitation. The site reminded me of the end of the world, a massive modular bleach-white industrial unit in the middle of a scorched wheat field. In the background, the sun rose, wanting to drown the world in the blistering colors of dawn, but finding everything in that narrow space to be yellow or white and nothing else. Access to the complex, oops. Access to the complex was through a pavilion-like annex. We got in a queue, and a veterinarian handed each of us a soft plastic suit that looked like a giant shiny white potato sack and a headpiece made of the same material, with a see-through window for the eyes. Then he sprayed us with some sort of disinfectant hose. The scene reminded me of Holocaust documentaries, except we weren't so much naked as overdressed. They informed us we wouldn't be able to leave until our lunch break at 11:30. At first, I was alarmed because I had to pee, but it took me less than an hour to sweat every last drop of water from my body. Even though I bore it out, I'd go so far as to say it was unbearable. My job consists of the following. Michel, doubtless the only person working with me today who is actually nice, has picked me to be his partner, out of pity, I assume. We walk to the end of one of those extremely long aisles. There are 7 rows of cages per aisle, 100 cages per row, and 20 laying hens per cage. The last cage in the last row is empty. The goal is to grab a chicken from the second to last cage, vaccinate it, and then move it to the last cage, the empty one. That way, there's always an empty cage available for the transfer, an optimal system that can be repeated ad infinitum. I'm the one who grabs the hens, which, if you ask me, makes this job just another variation on l'attrapage. Only these chickens, which are overstimulated and pumped full of hormones, are also consequently more violent, making this gig more challenging than attrapage. On top of that, it isn't easy reaching all the way to the back of the cage where the chickens huddle together. While Michel may be hateful to the hens, he is an angel compared to the rest of the team. You can tell he's done this a lot. I pass him a chicken and he vaccinates it with surgical precision, then tosses it in the back of the next cage. Sometimes we hear the snapping of a foot or a wing. When this happens, Michel laughs and swears at the bird with a word that gets muffled by the headpiece. I want to hate him, but then I look at the other guys who are far worse and can't help but hate all of them who, I suppose, in turn unleash their hatred on the chickens. The cycle ends there. Chickens cannot hate. At the start of my shift, I come across the occasional mangled or dead chicken. In the case of the latter, protocol dictates we're to call the vet so they can retrieve the corpse and replace it with a live bird. It wasn't easy at first, but I'm a fast learner. The right procedure for this variant of l'attrapage is to grab the chicken by both wings at the same time. That way your partner can hold it in the same position, turn it around, and inject the vaccine in its abdomen. It took me 6 cages to learn the ropes. On the 3rd cage, I broke one of the chicken's wings. I cried. Thankfully, the headpiece hid my tears. I don't want Michel to know I am weak. It suddenly dawned on me that some are cut out for this work and some aren't. Then I realized that that wasn't a factual statement, but a kind of classism that justified my sense of superiority. I have a degree and will eventually find a job. A precarious one for sure, but definitely better than this one, where I won't have to torture living beings or be tortured for money. If experiencing life in order to write means working as a guard at a camping in Barcelona, or even as an army nurse, then sign me up. But this is beyond me. Maybe the others think they can do it the way addicts think every addiction is manageable except their own. Still, today I learned that everyone is equipped to do this. By the end of my shift, I was tossing chickens and laughing as maniacally as Michel. Thankfully, the headpiece takes the edge off the despair.